Alright everyone, this is a big one, but before putting a video like this out there, it's really important for me to put a few disclaimers here at the start. The item that I'm going to be talking about in this video, while it has the potential to be a game changer, an account changer for sure, worth potentially billions and billions of silver, the item I'm talking about also has not been 100% confirmed. Now, I would say the chances of it coming out are very likely, and something recently happens that maybe kind of changed my opinion on this a little bit. Before, I was pretty 50-50 on it, but recently, since something happens, it's made me go from being pretty 50-50 on it to now I think it's very likely that it's going to come out either very similar to the version that I'm going to show you guys, or exactly the same. And I'll talk about what that change was here towards the start of the video as well, because it's pretty important. But I still want to say that it's not 100%, right? This item either might come out differently than the version you see, or there's even still a small possibility that it just doesn't come out at all. But it's really important to put this out there, because if I don't make the video on this until it's 100% confirmed officially, it's going to be too late, because a lot of people are going to immediately misuse this item, lose out on a ton of value, use it improperly. So I have to take a little bit of a risk here and put it out before it's become 100% confirmed. And if it's a little different, that's okay. It's a little different. At least I'm going to be able to hopefully help some of you guys out. So what is the item that I am talking about here, this potential game changer, account changer, worth billions and billions of silver? Well, the item that I am talking about is the Jay's Hammer of Precision. Now, we've actually had a Jay's Hammer given to us before, and those of you guys who are more experienced players, if you've been playing the game for a while, basically for exactly a year now, you're probably already familiar with the other hammer that we got, which was the Jay's Hammer of Loyalty. And I'll just show you a better image of this right here. Now, this is the old hammer, which we were given about a year ago. And then the hammer that I think is going to be very likely coming out soon is going to be the new one, which is the Jay's Hammer of Precision. Now, these are both incredibly powerful items, and if you guys have been playing the game for a while and you actually got to use the Jay's Hammer of Loyalty, you know exactly what it is that made it very powerful. And I'll tell you guys that the Jay's Hammer of Precision here actually has the potential to be even more powerful than the Jay's Hammer of Loyalty. Now, again, not 100% confirmed. It could still come out differently than the version that you guys see here. But again, if we just get this item and they give it out and I don't make a video like this, a lot of people are going to use it improperly and lose out billions and billions and billions of silver of value. So I have to take that risk here, and let me get into what that change was that really made me think that this item is going to be coming out instead of being 50-50. Now, this item has actually been in the game files for a little while now, and a lot of people were like, it might come out, it might not come out. That's kind of how I felt for a while. I was like 50-50. Maybe they just put it in the game files. Who really knew? But the thing is, recently something happened, and that is they actually updated the description of this item. So we have a whole lot more info now on more specifically what this item actually does. And this was recent. So, you know, because they updated the description, even though it's technically not confirmed and not in the game as of right now, I'd say it's very unlikely that they updated the item and the description with all this very specific information if this item is not going to come out. I think the timing of it as well is too big of a coincidence, given that the old hammers are very, very close now to a year old. They're about to expire. And of course, we have the Hydale Ball coming up in just a couple of weeks as well. So it could be a crazy coincidence. Who knows? Maybe this is a very late April Fool's joke. It's always possible considering it's not been confirmed. But as you guys can see, I'm pretty confident enough to make a video like this, even though it hasn't been 100% confirmed. Now, if we look at the description, you can see a special hammer approved by a legendary blacksmith, Doran Morgrim, ideal for enhancing accessories that are difficult to acquire, prevents drop in enhancement levels when enhancement fails. Now, this right here is a very key line of text. This is actually what potentially makes it even better than the other hammer. And you might be wondering, wait, but why? Cronstones, like the other hammers, also prevented your item from downgrading. Well, the thing is this new hammer here, the Jay's Hammer of Precision, is for accessories. And when you enhance accessories, even with Cronstones, there is a chance that you still downgrade your accessory. Now, regular gear, it doesn't get destroyed when you fail, but normally without Cronstones, it downgrades, right? Now, accessories, are kind of like a whole new level of pain, because with accessories, without cron stones, if you fail, it gets destroyed completely. The item is gone. And with cron stones, what happens is it actually goes from normally being completely destroyed to now it's going to either be completely safe and stay at the same enhancement level, but there's also a chance even with cron stones that your accessory still downgrades. So this hammer actually looks like it prevents that from happening. So it's got the potential to be even more powerful than using cron stones on accessories. That is really, really a big deal. So I'm going to show you guys some numbers here and talk about how this item is worth billions and billions of silver if you use it properly, why it would be a very big mistake to use it improperly, how many billions of silver and how much value you could lose out on. And this could be a game changer. Like if these come out and you use it, get lucky and hit a massive item, like that could take your account all the way from 0 to 100. Like that's how crazy this item has the potential to have. Now, I want to show you guys the cronstone cost for a whole bunch of different stuff. And on the left-hand side, you guys can see all the stuff that, basically a lot of the stuff from the old hammer that you could end up using it. And you can see that the numbers, they do get pretty high. And a lot of people, what they use their old hammer on, the most optimal use, or one of the most optimal uses, was using it on like a pen black star click. Because the way that the hammers work is it's a substitution for cronstones. So basically, however many crons that it takes in order to do that attempt, you can just use one hammer instead, right? So instead of 3,670 cron stones that you would normally need to cron a pen black star attempt, you would end up using one of those J's hammers, and it basically acts just like the 3,670 cron stones. Besides that, it's exactly the same. You don't get fail stack levels, you don't downgrade, and if it fails and you don't succeed the enhancement, the only thing that happens is you end up losing your hammer. Just like if you use cron stones, the only thing that happens is you lose all those cron stones. And durability loss, of course. But you could see that this hammer, it only uses one hammer regardless of whatever it is that you enhance. So whatever difficulty, I believe you can actually use the hammers on try and higher, but what you wouldn't want to do is use it on a low difficulty, because it's going to use your one hammer regardless, right? So you get more value for your hammer by using it on something that is more expensive with cron stones, because either way, no matter what, when you do your click, it's going to use one hammer. So it uses one hammer for a pen black star attempt of 3,670 cron stones, or it uses one hammer with a Tet black star click of 591 cron stones, or it uses one hammer for one, Zarka main hand click for 531 cron stones. Like you get the point, right? It uses one hammer either way. So if you want to get the most value for it, you want to click as best of the gear as you possibly can, obviously on as high of a fail stack as you can, but you want to prioritize the gear enhancement level more. Like if you don't have a super high fail stack, but you have like a Tet black star or whatever, like it's better to go for the pen black star click even if you have a lower fail stack than it is to go with a good fail stack for a lower attempt, because like the difference between 591 and 3,670 cron stones, that is an insane amount of value that you end up losing out if you end up doing something other than the optimal, which would be like pen black star. So you get the point here. The reason why I'm getting into detail about this is because the accessory hammers are going to function potentially exactly the same. Now, one more disclaimer here, that this item, there's a very small chance it doesn't come out, or it's still different from the description that you guys see in this video. But given all the info that we know, it's very, very likely that it's going to function very similar to the old hammer, except normally accessory is, even if you cron accessories, like you spend all these thousands and thousands of cron stones for a pen accessory attempt, you have a Tet accessory, and even if you pay all those cron stones and you fail, there's still a chance that you downgrade and go back down from a Tet accessory down to a Tri accessory. It is painful, it's brutal. Cronning accessories is very, very tough. But this hammer here, if you actually go back to that line of text here, prevents drop in enhancement level when enhancement fails. So it seems like if it functions the way that this description reads, if and when it comes out, it will actually be even more powerful than using just regular cron stones, because it'll also prevent your accessory from downgrading. Now that is huge. That means that if you min-max this hammer here, if you use it on potentially the best enhancement level, which would be like a pen accessory click. So you would need a Tet accessory, you would need a fail stack Again, the TED accessory is more important than the fail stack level. You want to try to get as much value for it as you can instead of clicking on a lower enhancement level where obviously the amount of cron stones that it would normally cost is going to be a lot lower. You want to click on something where the cron stone cost is going to be really high because it's going to use one hammer regardless, right? So not only is it going to have the same value as the amount of cron stones that it would end up taking to do one of these clicks here, which you could see, it, 2,999, 3,600, 5,699, 5,699, 7,499, like crazy numbers, 11,548. I'm going to mention the Deboreka though, that's an exception. And you guys, if you look at the list of items for the hammer, you'll actually see that they left out the Deboreka necklace, and that's one of the ones that you cannot actually use these hammers on. Another little key that makes me feel like, well, this item, it seems like they've really thought about it. It seems pretty refined. Like they're leaving out the Deboreka, which is obviously like one of the biggest end game goals for a lot of people. With just all the, basically we've been given 99 puzzle pieces, but not the 100th one, but we have 99 out of 100 pieces. I can't quite say the puzzle is done, right? Because that's technically not true. We're missing one piece, but it's very, it's really coming together. We can pretty much get a full picture of what the puzzle is, even with that one missing piece, and that one missing piece is basically the official confirmation. That's kind of the example that I gave on my Twitch live stream here about this, and they did leave the Deboreka necklace out though, so important to take note of that. For those of you endgame players, you won't be able to use that on the Deboreka, but you'll still be able to use it on things like the Black Distortion earring. You'll be able to use it on very expensive, very valuable TED accessories, and essentially get yourself 7,500 plus cron stones of value for one hammer. And I actually say it's probably 10,000 plus, because normally cron stones could downgrade, but with the hammer you also lose your ability to potentially downgrade the accessory. So now that I've given you guys all the info and really everything you need to know about this, like what is the point of this video? Why am I talking about this? Why did I take the risk of putting a video like this out there early, even though it has not been confirmed? Well, I want to tell you guys the optimal way to really get the most value for your hammer. Now, if you go with something different, ultimately at the end of the day, you're playing a game, right? Like whatever makes you happy, that's the ultimate goal. I'm guessing most people playing the game are playing to try to have fun, hopefully. And so like, that's the number one goal, right? But if you're looking to be optimal, if you're looking to try to get as much efficiency and as much value for your hammer, you obviously want to do a pen accessory attempt. Now, there's really no downside, right? Like if you fail, you just lose your hammer, but you still keep your TED accessory. Really nothing happens. Basically a free gamble. You get a free big giant gamble, which would normally cost you billions and billions of silver worth of cron stones. Obviously, you want to use as high of a fail stack. If the hammers get close to expiring and you still haven't built up a fail stack, just go with the highest that you have, but I would wait until they expire, just like a lot of people have waited for this hammer, which is about to expire, and now they're starting to click it because they're using the highest fail stacks that they have. I would do the same thing. There's no reason to rush it the first day. Just use a bad fail stack. Like you're potentially giving up billions and billions of silver. So that's the first thing I would say, is if you don't have like a relatively high fail stack ready, I would definitely just hold off. You've got probably what will be a year. It might be different. Who knows on the date, but you probably have a pretty long time before it's going to expire. So no rush. Try to get as much value from it as possible, even if that means taking some time to build up a stack, or if you're still newer to the game, like get used to the game and then eventually build up a fail stack. And if it just means you're going to use it before it expires with the highest fail stack you have, that's totally fine. That is a better choice than just immediately using it right away, even though it's tempting, right? A lot of people are going to do it anyway. They're going to just click it because it's super exciting. I would not click it with a low fail stack. You're letting potentially billions of silver go to waste. But that's just the first mistake right there. Now, the other thing is obviously make sure to do as high of an accessory click as possible. You want to prioritize TET. You don't want to do like Tri or Duo or any of that stuff. You're just giving up 90% plus of the value of the hammer at that point. It uses one hammer regardless, right? Whether you do Tri, TET, Pen, it's going to still use one hammer instead of the cron stones. So you want to get as many cron stones for your hammer click and value as you possibly can. Now, the other thing, and this is the example, this is something that we actually talked about on the Twitch live stream today, because a couple of people were getting a bit of a difficult time of really understanding this on the kind of accessory that you want to click on, because there's a lot of different accessories out there. And let's actually get into a couple of them here. So you guys can understand why like black distortion earrings are going to be like probably one of the, if not the best choices here. There might be some other contenders, obviously depending on the economy on your server and the way that prices are. But I'll give you guys a little bit of an example here that might make it a bit easier, because a lot of people, it seems like in the stream, had a bit of a difficulty of understanding this. But, well, like black distortion earrings, right? So look at the price of TET, right? 18.6 here on NA, and then the price of pen is 116 for pen. Now, if we go to something that a lot of people are also potentially going to end up clicking it on, is like the lunar necklace, which is another very big item. Let's just pretend the value of the lunar necklace, let's just say instead of 110, like pretend that that number is like 130, just to make this example a little bit easier. Because technically, in this example, we'll say that the lunar is actually more valuable at pen than the black distortion. However, the TET price of the lunar is much, much lower. It's still, let's just say it's 11.4 billion silver, right? Now, if we go back to the black distortion earring, we have a pen that is going to be lower in value, but a TET that is significantly higher in value. If that's the case, it's still better to actually use the hammer on the black distortion earring. Why do you say that? Isn't that crazy? If the pen lunar is going to be worth more, wouldn't it be better to go with the pen lunar? Well, think of it this way, is the hammer is giving you a chance to get the pen. However, what does the hammer actually do? Well, to understand this easily, think of what happens when you click on a TET accessory normally without cron stones, without a hammer. What happens if you fail? Well, if you fail, you end up losing the accessory, right? It disappears. It goes poof, it's gone. Accessory enhancing is terrible. It's painful. That's how it goes. So if you click on a distortion without cron stones, if you click on a lunar without cron stones, this doesn't matter. If you do it, it disappears if you fail. Now, what happens? What's the difference between clicking it without cron stones or a hammer, and now the difference between clicking it with a hammer? Well, the difference is you now protect your TET. All right, so now, compared to clicking it without the hammer, and now clicking it with the hammer, what happens now? Well, if you didn't have the hammer, or you didn't have cron stones, you would lose your TET accessory, but now you keep it instead. So basically, you can almost think of it as it's like the hammer is kind of like bringing back your TET accessory back from the dead, even though it normally would disappear, right? So it's like, okay, your TET normally would disappear, but now it's bringing it back. Your cron stones, it's kind of like they're bringing it back. Now, the hammer is even more powerful because it won't have the chance to downgrade. Regular cron stones, it's going to bring your accessory back, but there's a chance that it actually brings it back a level lower, which really, really sucks. So you don't get as much value from the cron stones as you do from these potential hammers. These potential hammers, like if you fail, it's going to bring your TET accessory back 100% of the time from the dead, and it's now like you basically just got a TET accessory, right? So because the TET distortions are so much more valuable, it would actually be better to do it on a TET distortion because the TETs are more valuable. You're bringing back your TET accessory from the dead, and you're getting more value there compared to, you know, say the lunar, where for the lunar, even though the pen might be a little bit more, and again, your markets might be different on your server, because you're bringing something back that has significantly less value, then you're going to get less value essentially from your hammer. So hopefully that example, that's kind of like, this is, you know, obviously more for endgame players. Newer players, I think you probably gotten as much out of this video as you can, but I wanted to really bring this up here and really do my best to emphasize how important it is to potentially use this item here as best as you possibly can. Try to get the most value, because we're not just talking about like a couple million silver, or, you know, even like 1 billion. Like, this has got the potential to be worth billions and billions and billions. I'm looking at, it looks like 10 billion-ish silver is around the maximum value that you'll be able to get from this. You can't use it on Deboreka, but you could still use it on things like distortion. Like, if it comes out in its current form, the way that we actually have access to it right now, and the description that we see, like, this is potentially going to be a game-changing, account-changing item. You absolutely want to make sure you understand it properly and put it to the best use that you can. We don't get freebies like this, and it's likely it'll be free. I don't know if we'll get 2 of them. That might be a little bit too much, but if we do, there's a good chance we get 1 of them because it's more powerful than the old hammer. You want to make sure to put it to as good use as possible, because this is kind of like the once in a year or less often type freebies. That's how good it is. Don't let it go to waste. And I think it's worth the risk putting a video like this out there. So I hope that this helped out, guys. I really do. If it turns out that it doesn't come out or it comes out differently later, that's okay. I wanted to take the risk because it'll be too late. Like, they could just release this and not give us a whole lot of warning, and by that time, if I don't put something out there, a lot of people will just click it, use it improperly, and there's nothing that I'll be able to do at that point. So taking a little bit of risk here. I hope you guys understand, and I hope that this helped out. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you guys did and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Of course, if you want to help out, be awesome. Consider clicking like as well. It means more than you can imagine. So thank you so much to all of you guys who decide to do that. And of course, feel free to check out the Twitch stream where I stream almost every single day, twitch.tv/salt. Tons of enhancing and lots of really fun stuff, lots of big clicks. I'll definitely explain all this sort of stuff in more detail on the live stream. So always feel free to ask questions, stop by, hang out, have a good time. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. And until next time.